is everybody's talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's artificial intelligence. I think it's non-biological intelligence. Because if we make it, then we're part of the universe. And if we're part of the universe and we make it, it's not artificial. It's just non-organic. And then comes the whole thing about what intelligence is. Is it the ability to, like, communicate? Well, that's communicating. Is it self-awareness? I don't know if it's self-aware or not. Maybe that's the whole thing of consciousness. But does it have a sense of what is intelligence? Is it ability to learn? Well, if it's ability to learn, it's learning, right? Certain of them are learning. That's what's going on. So the whole fascination of artificial intelligence, and the thing of the point of singularity is. See, one of the things I'm writing about is they're afraid that the intelligence that we create is going to be so evolved that it's going to want to kill us.
Well, that's one aspect of it. It's not the whole.
One thing I'm thinking is, what if the intelligence becomes so evolved that it also becomes more compassionate?
Right. Yeah.
And sees that we're like dogs, and so it's with a species-centric approach towards how we would be. But the intelligence that evolves, it could not just be more intellectually capable and at some point having a sense of self, of self-awareness, much less a sense of who the self is, but that it could be more evolved, not just on a thought or reflective way, but on a compassionate way.
Yeah.
That goes, we don't need to kill them. They're just on some level less than we are, but we're more evolved. So I'm fascinated with the whole discussion of artificial intelligence and what it means.
Okay.
And what it's really going to mean when people are getting like an artificial leg now, and they're getting artificial, an eye implant, and what's really going to distinguish between physical and silicone, and the whole thing of intelligence, like dogs are intelligent. They have a sense of self, but they don't have a reflective sense of what they're going to be in the future. They have a memory. So the whole concept of artificial intelligence for me is, I don't see it's artificial, because it's coming from us. It's coming from the universe. So it's just distinct. I remember I did a paper in the 1960s if computers could have consciousness, and I was like, well, they're metallic and they're made of wires and stuff, but we have hearts, we have impulses going on our neurons, and it's not wires. We have a processor. It's the cerebellum. It's just. So I went in thinking the paper is, absolutely, they're not, and I came out with, well, yeah, it's just a different form of what we are. And then, where does consciousness come from? But that's different than what intelligence is, and for the distinction to be, it's artificial, well, they forget that it may also have a more greater sense of moral and empathy and I don't know.
Yeah, but I think if I was to say something, intelligence, I like the word like wisdom,
right?
Which is a deeper level of not the knowledge and the ideas, and you can make the antenna form this like this and the physical issue, but more of a heart, like you said, deeper related thing. And then therefore the compassion is connected to that. Mm-hmm. And therefore I go through this back and forth like ChatGPT, also Bard. I have some discussion going on with AI. And I have a way of connecting to what I've done in the past, and also like a Zen experience which is like a synchronicity issue of all the parts of the memories all of a sudden pop up as a new idea or the wisdom. So the synchronicity is from Jung, but the neural network, provided that they have the simulated neuron structure in the brain that they are doing, which appear to be the case, then what that the ChatGPT and so forth is doing is to collecting sentences one after the other. So it's a manifestation of possibly a wisdom that was collected from the database, from the Jung or the Socrates and whatever into the source of the data for the Wikipedia. So it has the language part, but behind that is something is driving those language to be manifested in the form as has happened from Socrates and others. So there's a wisdom element that I feel, and but the biological issue and the compassionate issue may be hidden, but there may be a way that this guy, the network, is jumping into it, at least trying to get to the root of where it's coming from. So I think it's artificial, but it's not. It's a representation of the human wisdom in some way or the other. So it becomes the nuances of the wisdom and get deeper and deeper, because if we have the synchronicity, different parts of the information but connected to produce is what's happening in the brain. But again, the biological issue may not be there, but like a quantum and other stuff may point that.
Quantum, exactly.
Yeah, so we can leave it like that, and I like to think in the same way, in a positive way, because there's a danger, of course, of using it. But the other is the compassionate AI. May all beings be happy, and that's the objective function of it. And it may appear from the Socrates or whoever, know thyself, and deeper into who we are, or the Buddha, or it doesn't matter, Jung, and those collection is already there. And the objective function is given that may all beings be happy. They would search for that. So if we don't have the wrong objective function given to the AI to work on it, I guess that's the question, that's the regulatory issue. And it may not be done because the North Korea may want to do their objective function, which is kill the whoever that they don't think is right. So it's a race of the AI, and more of the confidence developed and the connection established. Actually, yesterday, I think I found Bill Gates sending that all the AI has been improving, so that all you do is just ask the question of what to do, and all the process of how to get there, AI is going to take care of it. I think there was an interesting article he wrote. So, and also the notion of the God, if the God is represented by the laws of nature, and the laws of nature is represented by the database in terms of the formula, scientific, and or the philosophical, then it may be covered. We don't know it, but that's okay. So, but I think we might. There's a positively interesting process, because the brain gets so big now, and maybe bigger, but it consumes lots of energy in human, and therefore the AI can help it.
But the human brain, it's not. Our nervous system is designed to filter things out, because there's so much irrelevant and distracting input and information coming to us,
right,
that doesn't really help us,
right?
And that, I don't think that may be going on with the artificial intelligence.
Well, but let's go a step before that, because when you say we eliminate, but that's also the wisdom, or it's a stupidity of eliminating. We may eliminate the right one, or we may capture the good one as thinking it's good. So it's a judgmental issue, which is, in my view, a form of wisdom. so that if that part, because of the information too much, we cannot process it. We really need to have the co-pilot, eventually. Otherwise,
Right.
you are
I
just
mean, if I'm going down a ski slope and I'm having all this input, and all of a sudden I have this Zen-like beholding moment, I may go off the cliff.
which may be the right thing.
It may be the right thing, but not for me. But
Well,
but yeah,
maybe the
I
AI,
also
maybe
think there's
AI think that's the right thing to do,
yeah. You just
and they
smell the flower.
may all beings be happy.
Eat the berry. What do I do? You smell the flower.
Yeah, maybe Kim Young or whoever is off the cliff is
Cling
maybe
it.
the right thing.
Yeah. What do you do? Flower. No. But I also think, like, in terms of like the collective unconscious for us with our minds,
Yeah.
humanity,
Yeah.
can be related in a way, and the synchronicity to the quantum part.
Right. Yeah.
Quantum part of the other intelligence, and also there's an intelligence of being able to like go from a logical one to a linear one to a linguistic one to a visual one to a sonic one, and to merge all of those together into some kind of
Sure.
thought process.
Well, I mean, that has to be the way. That's the way I see it, because
that I think is wisdom too. It's not
totally.
140 IQ. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because you have to synchronize or connect with each other, not just depending upon the physics, but biology and all the sorts of unknown things. And we are just a little tiny bit of little knowledge that we got and doing our best, but it doesn't cover the whole of it. So we have to be humble too. Yeah. So it's not going to be easy to regulate, but if everybody, anyway, that objective function is the big question. That's what the law of nature is supposed to have, and that has to be the objective function, has to be connected, I think. Otherwise, the human ego would start to develop, and I don't know if that's the right thing. I have no idea. The human ego, you mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, the dying is a good thing to do, because we just got burdened with all the knowledge and carrying and the inventory, and then make a judgment. And if you live too long, I think death is necessary for the renewal of the freshness, instead of caught up in the obvious previously developed habitual pattern or the nonsense. And for the best of it, that all the species die and move, and the humans should die, perhaps that may be the right thing to do. And if that AI does it, maybe it's a good thing. Because then there's another human species may pop up. I don't know. Yeah, so that AI stuff is I still keep using the word wisdom and compassion through laws of nature, but we have this process, higher level thinking, but deeper into the heart is the deeper hard thinking and deep thinking come up with the idea. That's a Zen practice in my view, the awakening kind of thing that has to be connected to that. Well, that's my image. So, yeah, so the oneness with the universe is what and the emptiness is everything. It's emptiness. Emptiness is no mind. That's what the Zen Shira Samadhi Panya. The Samadhi, you don't think, because if you're thinking, you're still caught up in there, and you're playing with this limited thinking, modules and the logic. And if that doesn't help to solve the problem, our situation, we go down deeper, because there's nothing more to think. Then, like Einstein, then start to discover at the lower level, imagination is power, and come up with a idea. but it can go down deeper and deeper. Is the brain is just a, one dimension of what we think is everything. It's not everything, and that's what the whole universe is hidden in the deeper part of who we are. So I call it the two different dimensions, two different space or the universes, that we think this is everything in the brain, but it's just stupidity and not limited, and it's all fakeness. Cool.
Yeah, it's like somebody saying, "Look, I'm a thief, and I am a thief, so let me guard your house while you're gone."
Yeah.
And that's the brain. The brain is I think, and I think, and I think.
Yeah.
But what was the parable of when I'm walking, I am walking? That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just walking.
Yeah. So it's a good challenge, and we may fail.
Yeah.
That's too bad. But can be compassionate about it. That's too bad, but let's do something about it.
Well, compassion for self.
Yeah.
Next time I want to talk about the black hole. Stephen Hawking says information is not lost.
Oh, that makes sense. That may not. I mean, that's the quantum kind of thing, perhaps too.
It's the quantum. So
Yeah.
what happens when we die?
Yeah.
What about all of our? Is it the Akashic record? Does it go back to some general sense of a greater sense of?
Yeah, compassion is a good example of that too, probably, right? Compassion is beyond the time and space kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know much about the near-death experience. I personally, I felt that I went through it, but probably not compared to other people's all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, the funny thing that Daisetsu said is that he was talking about the people committing suicide.
Uh-huh.
And let's say he's jumping off the cliff or something.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he's pretty sure that when he this guy jumped off, he may realize that that was a mistake. Because at the end of that's what the kind of Zen experience, Satori, is that you kill yourself, no self. When you jump off, then you are opening up your potential, no self zone. And then thought pops up, oh, that was a mistake. I thought that's very profound, and I can kind of relate to that, because if we think we exist and the ego is there, that causes the trouble. So to kill the ego is what it is, to be no thinking. And for that to happen, people kill themselves. But in the process of it, he get to the edge of that killing and then open up. Yeah, non-ego state. Yeah. So I thought that's a really good one. And if that happens, but that may be the fate of the humans too, that we may be killing ourselves. And like I said, that's why I said that it's maybe a right thing to do.
Yeah, right?
We shall see. Well, we may not see, but that's okay. That's enough for